Welcome to Skin Talk.
Yes.
Another good show.
Absolutely fabulous.
I mean, this looks pretty fabulous.
Yes. Yes, we're always keeping it
We have
lively
bubbly drinks right now. How
Yes.
much cooler can we be?
How jealous
than
are you?
this? Well, let's cheers to a great show.
Yes.
Got some good stuff planned. We have a really good guest today. Leanne has a segment.
Yeah.
All that good
Yeah.
stuff. But
on the scientific theme.
yes, that's why we're dressed like this.
Yes.
Which we can take these off now. They're a little blinding. But yeah, so you were talking to me earlier about an event that you went to.
Yes. It was the Jason Farley Melanoma Foundation.
Okay.
It's a newly formed foundation from, unfortunately, this young boy, he was like 26 years old, who died from melanoma. It was something that was on his ear that he had noticed and went and took action on it.
Wow.
But unfortunately, by the time he noticed it on the back of his ear and went, he had, from the time he got it diagnosed, he lived 10 months.
Oh my God.
And passed, yeah.
That's so important to get the skin checks and to be
Yes.
paying
so,
attention
right,
to
now
that.
that's the whole thing, because I was there with the family, who's an amazing, amazing family. I just want to shout out to Brenda Farley and Matt and the whole family there. That's the survivors of this wonderful man. And it was a golf tournament out in
Methuen, yep.
Massachusetts. Beautiful golf course. And it was just to see the support.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And to think I was there 2 hours away, and there's people in my own town.
Oh, yeah.
Who's
People
showing up,
travel.
and I'm like, when it's about melanoma, it just,
Yeah.
you know,
People
it
travel
really
for it.
becomes a small world.
Yep.
And while I was there, I was heartbroken because they had a memorial tribute poster, which was beautiful, of different people locally who've also passed with melanoma. And I actually learned something. It was a very sad thing to learn, but apparently, when you're pregnant and are diagnosed with a disease, there's only 3 diseases that actually travel through the placenta that can affect your baby.
Wow.
One is lymphoma, one is leukemia, and melanoma.
Wow.
So there's this woman, she was 33 years old, and she became pregnant. 3 months after she delivered her child, she noticed not feeling well. She was diagnosed with melanoma. She freaked out, not for herself, but for her baby.
Right.
And the doctor said, no, it's fine, it's fine. But she was a persistent, as moms are, as a woman is, and her daughter ended up having melanoma.
Oh my God.
So the mom died at 33, and 8 months later, the 1.5-year-old baby died.
Oh my God, that's a terrible.
And it's Addison's Army. So anybody
Yeah.
who's listening and watching, Google Addison's Army. It's a horrific story, but truly a great information and
Wow.
just the army that
Incredible.
they created for the knowledge part of learning something like that.
So
it was
sad.
good because it was a great support, but
Right.
it's always for a sad thing.
Right.
But you also did one too.
Yeah, we just had our martinis for melanoma
Yeah, and you
in
do that every
Springfield.
year.
Yeah, well, this is actually we've been doing other types of events, but we brought it back this year. It was a couple years ago, and it was at Lux Burger Bar in Springfield.
And I heard it was an awesome turnout.
It was
I'm
awesome.
so sorry I couldn't be there.
It was really, really fun. We had so many people there. They actually ran out of parking. It was all to benefit the Melanoma Foundation of New England, and we raised well over our goals. So, and Leanne was actually on my committee, so she was there.
Then you know it was fabulous.
obviously.
But we also have some good news
Yes.
as far as social media. I
Yeah.
mean, we have people Facebooking
Yes.
and tweeting and
Yes.
sending us emails. So
Yes.
you know of a few.
Well, we had Carrie Welch, who was on the last show.
She was
She
just a
wrote in and
firecracker.
said,
Oh my God,
I know,
she
she
was
was a
so-
hot ticket.
We love you, Carrie.
And she wrote in and said she had a great time on the show and all that. And then we had some other people writing in. There was actually a gentleman who wrote in about requesting some information,
I read that.
particularly
I
about
read
his
that.
skin. And it's this is a really good opportunity to remind people. We always recommend that you see a dermatologist because we are definitely not dermatologists, and we
Right.
certainly could not diagnose something in person, but definitely not over the internet.
And we try to be as knowledgeable and as
Right.
helpful as we can. And
But we're not
give
doctors.
Our personal
Even though we're in lab
recommendations.
coats.
Yes. What is that saying? I'm not only
Communications major.
Yes,
It's not in a
yes,
lab.
Yes,
lab
but
coat.
no, it's like I'm not
Strange.
only the president, but I am acting.
Yeah, not
as
only a
doctor.
host, but I'm an actress as well.
Acting as a doctor.
Yeah.
No, but we try to be as formative and as helpful and on point
Right.
with our information as possible. And a lot of times when we do stress certain things, we'll say it's just our personal information
Right.
or personal whatever. But this is the key point that if you have questions like that unfortunately we can't answer because we can't see you and we are not doctors.
Right.
Definitely is a good opportunity to find a dermatologist
Yeah.
and point these things out. If you have a
be seeing
concern,
one anyways,
right,
once a year,
especially if you have a
established
concern
care.
though, that's
Right.
like a light bulb going off. It's like a red flag to saying, well, you know what, this bothers me. Let me get it checked out. So
Right.
it could never hurt. It can only be safe than sorry, as we just discussed of different ones that unfortunately we lost
Right.
of melanoma because they did go, but they went too late. So the key is just go. Just
Yeah.
go on a regular basis and go as early
Get
as
checked,
possible.
figure it out. Yeah.
But so we have our real doctor
Yes.
coming up.
Yes, so stay tuned.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it.
Good morning. Guys, you forgot about me.
Annoying mole and bothering you? May is Melanoma Awareness Month. It's time to get it checked. Visit the Melanoma Foundation of New England's website at mfne.org for more information.
Welcome back. We have our guest here, Dr. Spiro Marangoudakis.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. So we're theming this very sciencey this episode.
In your honor.
Perfect.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I'm a molecular biologist. I graduated from the molecular bio, cell bio, and biochemistry department with a PhD from Brown University in 2011. Wow. Before that, I studied molecular markers of cancer at Millennium Pharmaceuticals, which was in Cambridge, Mass. And I also worked at a small biotech company, also in Cambridge, studying cell biology.
Wow.
Now, what was your interest in gearing your efforts in that direction?
Yeah, what made you get involved?
I guess I've always just been interested in science. I've always been a scientist. I always knew I would be involved in research since I was a child.
Oh, that's very cool. So you're a perfect person to have on this show, obviously, because we talk a lot about melanoma and cancer
and now we
and
can
all
get
that.
our true facts because, as we mentioned earlier, it's like we
not
do a lot.
dermatologists.
Yes, not
doctors.
Yes.
I'm also not a dermatologist, but I do have expertise
You'll have more information and
in
more
cell biology
specifics.
and cancer.
Yeah.
Right, than we would.
So, speaking of that, can you explain kind of the science behind melanoma?
Sure.
What the cells are doing and all that?
Cancer in general is basically an abrogated, corrupted
you can
cell.
say that right. Definitely corrupted.
The DNA program that runs the cell has been corrupted.
Okay.
And if the corruption is in a gene that normally inhibits cancer, and that gene is knocked out, it can lead to replication of the cell. And when a cell has gone wayward and is replicating, normal cells don't replicate except for certain cells in the body.
Okay.
And when these cancer cells undergo wayward replication, and can't be controlled by the body, that can be a problem for the body.
Wouldn't the immune system take a play in that? Like if you have a strong immune system, I mean, again, there's healthy people who get melanoma, but does the immune system help sort of repress, the melanoma from growing in those cells, reproducing and things like that? Because from our research and everything that we've always known, that melanoma is the most aggressive cancer, so is there a reason for that? Like, one, the immune system, would that be helpful if somebody has a strong immune system? We've done things about healthy eating and exercise and stuff like that. Would that help? And then, the second part of the question is like, is it the most aggressive cancer and why? Why would you think?
Yeah, it has been noted as being very aggressive, and also the aggressiveness of cancer stems from its ability to metastasize, invade other tissues, and also evade the immune system. Okay. And so I think we'll be talking about the PD-1 receptor in a bit. And so the PD-1 receptor is actually a T cell receptor that T cells have, and keeps the T cell from, when it's activated, keeps the T cell from destroying the pathogens that it attaches to, whether it be a foreign invader or a diseased or cancerous cell.
Right.
And normal cells, they express the PD-1 ligand that inactivates the T cell and keeps it from destroying it. But some cancers, they co-opt this natural pathway. And when they express the PD-1 ligand, it keeps the T cell from being able to destroy the cancerous cell. So it kind of co-opts the natural pathways that protect cells from T cells and other white blood cells.
Now,
Makes
since
sense.
yeah, now
Sad.
since you brought it up, I know the FDA just granted the accelerated approval for PD-1 for patients who aren't responding to other treatments for melanoma. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So several drug companies are actually targeting PD-1, and some Merck and I think Bristol Myers Squibb, they're targeting the PD-1 receptor with monoclonal antibodies. Anything that has
Those are very big words.
a
Yes,
MAB at the
he's
end.
just blowing them out.
Anything that has
I'm
a-
glad I didn't have to say that.
So there are a lot of drugs out there that have MAB at the end.
Okay.
And MAB at the end means monoclonal antibody. So monoclonal antibodies
Well, that's
are
why he
antibodies
has PhD at the end left.
that specifically targets specific protein sequences. And both Merck and other drug companies are targeting PD-1 that keeps PD-1 from becoming active and pacifying the T cell. So it
Okay.
keeps T cells in a more active state, or allows them to be more active when they bind cancer, and thus destroy it.
And is that a cure? Like, could that lead to?
It can lead to long-term remission, and these drugs are fairly new, but it can potentially lead to curing cancer.
And you just said the word remission, so that was another question we had. You know, I've always heard that melanoma is curable when it's caught early enough, but other cancers you can't use the word cure. You have to say remission. What's the difference between those two distinctions?
I think the main difference is that, well, doctors in general, they like to use the word remission because nothing's certain, especially
Because
especially
people who've had melanoma
always come
and
back
10
and-
years later,
Yeah.
they've gotten
Right.
it back. So I think anything
That means
is
safer
yeah,
side.
to be safe.
especially when it's metastatic, when it's invaded other parts of the body. It's very hard to say that it's been completely eliminated. But with melanoma, because it's on the skin, you can see it.
Right.
You can.
It's the only cancer you can see right on the outside
and
of the body.
it can be more easily targeted and removed.
Right.
Excision, biopsy, and because of that, if it's excised early enough, and there's nothing left, there's no cancerous tissue left, you can fairly certainly say after a period of time, more certainly than with other cancers, that it's been cured.
Right. So that's why it's so important for the early detection and to get
Right,
checked, because
right.
it's
The earlier the
something
better.
you can-
Before it
right.
invades the lower levels of the epidermis,
Right.
Right.
and
Which was
before
what
it gets to the
mine
blood
was.
supply, before it starts metastasizing.
Right.
Mine
if you
hadn't
can get
gone to
it
the
early,
lymph nodes. It had just,
right.
but it had gone deeper into the skin.
Well,
so
that's the thing. I mean, I always explain it, and hopefully I've been explaining it correctly, that there's 4 stages of melanoma.
Right.
To other cancers, there's other different types of stages,
Right.
correct?
Right.
So I had always felt like stage 1 of melanoma, it's on the surface of your skin. Stage 2, it sort of starts growing legs. Stage 3, it starts moving to the lymph nodes. And stage 4, it gets to the major
To the
organs, the
organs,
heart,
yeah.
the
Right.
lung, the brain,
Yep.
that type of thing. So obviously, with other types of cancers, it's always been you felt a lump, or prostate
Right.
cancer, you felt certain things. And again, just so that we're clear, and I've been saying the right stuff, that with melanoma, it doesn't itch, burn, bleed, or any kind of signs.
well, it does if it's on the
In-
outside of the skin.
Right, it changes.
Right,
But I'm
it
saying as
starts
far as symptoms of it being painful. Because normally, for most men, not so much for women, because it is the biggest killer in men, is that if it's changing, they're not paying attention to that.
Right.
They're not paying attention that, that didn't look like that, 2 weeks ago. That, so unless you actually see it and notice it and realize it changed, women are always looking on our skin like, what is that?
Right.
Right.
So in that aspect, it won't itch, burn, or bleed, or have any real type of symptoms other than visual until stage 4, pretty much, correct?
Right. And with other cancers, they can be at very early stages, they can be at very late stages within the body, and you don't know until
Right.
it either metastasizes or it starts invading, it starts getting so large that it causes serious problems. But with melanoma, you can see it when
Right.
it's a millimeter.
I always
Right.
feel like
diameter or
you're your
smaller.
best advocate, because
Right.
if you know
Right.
what's on your body and you see a change, you could basically, and I use the word cure yourself, save yourself.
Right.
Because
Right.
of the fact
If you
that
get
you
it early,
see
absolutely.
any type of change, seeing
that's
it,
key before
taking it
before
off.
it gets to the bloodstream and before it metastasizes.
Right.
Okay.
And before it invades the lower layers of the epidermis.
Right.
That's key.
And now, real quick, we've been seeing all of these commercials about the link between
I've been waiting
Viagra
for
and
this question.
melanoma. What is that about?
Yeah, I saw that article that was published in
Yeah.
the Journal of the American Medical Association. So basically, it looks like if you've ever, so this is what the paper says, and the conclusion is we need to do more research on this. But one of the clear conclusions was that melanoma, above all others, so they looked back at, they did a cohort analysis and looked to see if there was any link between Viagra and melanoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and basal cell carcinoma. And they found that there was no link between Viagra and basal cell and squamous cell, but there was with melanoma. And so if you've ever taken Viagra, you've got you're 2 times more likely
Really?
to
It's like a tanning
to
bed,
get
except
melanoma.
that's more increased.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So that's actually, and it's
See, interesting
it
facts.
says
Listen
ever,
to this,
so that's very
guys.
interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
This has been
See,
really,
I know.
really
We've
enlightening.
learned so much on this
yeah.
show. I
In the
love
last
this show
5-10
because
minutes.
you really learn a lot if you watch.
This has
and
been
have
great.
fun.
Yeah, thank you. We have a little gift for you. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
coming
you.
on the
It's
show.
been
So informative
Oh,
and
thanks.
Yes.
totally,
This is great.
brewing
Appreciate
out
it.
all
Thank you.
those long
Words that we're going to have to
type of
rewatch
words.
that a couple times to know
a
what's
few
going on.
times. But that's
having
why you are, and you do what you do, and it's been awesome, and you really brought so much to us and enlightened so much of our viewers. So
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing because we need people like you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And stay tuned because we do have Leanne's segment coming up next.
Hi, my name is Spiro Marangoudakis, and did you know that melanoma cancer rates are one of the few cancer rates that are still on the rise?
That's why it's so important that we continue raising awareness about this deadly disease.
So continue to support early detection and prevention of melanoma.
And continue to watch these women on Skin Talk.
Dear 16-year-old me,
Dear 16-year-old me,
Dear 16-year-old me,
please don't get that perm. It's not as awesome as you think it's going to be.
You have to actually practice in order to learn to play guitar.
Whiskey tastes even worse on the way up.
Dear 16-year-old me, there's going to be a new set of Star Wars movies. Don't watch them. They ruin everything.
Dear 16-year-old me, this is where they took the cancer out. It was something called melanoma.
It's called malignant melanoma.
Malignant melanoma.
Malignant. That's not a very friendly word.
You'll be diagnosed when you're 28.
18.
36.
29.
22.
It's a tumor that starts in your skin cells, the cells that give your hair and skin color.
It's not just skin cancer.
Well, it is,
Well, it is.
but not just the...
Cut it out and it'll be fine kind, unfortunately.
It's the kind that you have to catch before it spreads.
Because it spreads so fast.
So fast.
To places like your liver, your lungs, your brain.
Yours will be a really rare kind in your left eye, and that's when you'll find out.
That melanoma can show up on your tongue, the palms of your hands, and the soles of your feet.
Your doctors will tell you you're lucky that you caught it early.
Yours will tell you that you need aggressive treatment.
I'll have to tell you it might take a year of chemotherapy.
And you'll need to do some of the injections yourself.
Dear 16-year-old me,
You're doing okay.
you're strong.
But there are some things I want you to know.
I wish I'd known.
That one bad sunburn before you turn 18.
Doubles your chances of developing melanoma.
That fair skin and red hair means that you're at a higher risk of getting it.
As if ginger people didn't have enough problems.
That you're at higher risk if you've got more than 50 moles.
And if you have a weakened immune system or a family history of skin cancer.
But just once a month, I want you to check.
It takes 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Dear 16-year-old me, I do realize you're not actually going to see this, but someone else will, and it'll make a difference to them.
Dear someone else.
Dear somebody else.
if you're watching this,
Send it to a 16-year-old you care about.
Send it to anyone who was once 16.
Or soon will be 16. Send this.
And check yourself. Educate yourself.
You can download tools and information about melanoma here.
Share this link.
Tweet this link.
Post this to your Facebook.
Well, welcome back. And there's always a good excuse to cheers tonight's show.
We should do this on every show.
I know.
I don't know
well,
why we
other
haven't been.
co-hosts and shows do. But we have Leanne
Yes.
again, as we always have Leanne, but she's always wonderful.
And she's going science on this one. So what do you got for us, Leanne?
Going science.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the science of sunscreen and how it actually works, like what sunscreen, besides like how it protects your skin, I should say. So there's two different kinds of sunscreen out out there. There's ones that are ingredients that absorb the sun's rays, and there's ones that reflect the sun's rays. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. So a sunscreen that reflects the sun's rays, those are the zinc-based titanium dioxide, more of what you see with the old sunblock from the 80s when you'd see the
Everybody's white
with the nose. Yeah. Now they're engineering them better so that they're rubbing into the skin so your skin's not staying white. But those sunscreens, they scatter and reflect the sun off of the skin like little mirrors.
Okay.
And they don't convert into anything else. So the chemical sunscreens, those are like your spray sunscreens,
really?
or
I always wondered what the difference was.
The chemical sunscreens out there, the ones that contain like avobenzone and helioplex. You'll see those at
you
the
see
grocery
that on
stores.
the advertisements for the sunscreen.
So are all
Exactly.
chemical sunscreens just the spray based?
No, many sunscreens out there have these ingredients as their active ingredients.
Okay.
So we should look for ones that have the active ingredients as being the zinc, because, right, that's supposed to be.
Preferably, those are the initially the safer ones. Okay. The chemical sunscreens, they soak up the sun, the UVA rays, like a sponge.
Okay.
And then it filters and sends it back out after converting it into lower energy and a less dangerous infrared light. So the physical sunscreen, like the zinc and titanium dioxide, those reflect away from the sun. In fact, actually, I have a picture here for you that you'll see on the screen that will explain it in a nice, easy diagram.
We like easy.
So
Diagrams
you'll
work
see
for me.
the one on your left, if you are looking at the screen, is the physical, so you'll see how it's reflected off of the skin, and the one that is on the screen on your right is the chemical sunscreen, and you'll see how it absorbs and then converts into that lower energy and gets reflected back out as less dangerous light.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the sunscreen works if you ever thought about
She's
how it
not
breaks
just
down.
like Spiro. All those big doctor words.
I was taking tips. We talked about, we were messaging about our homework that we had to do.
Lots of homework for this show.
His sounded a little more fun than mine.
Just so
though,
you
I
know,
have to
there is
say.
a lot of homework and research that goes into this show, all you viewers. We try to give you the best and accurate information possible and bring it into you in a fun way.
Well, that's the truth, Debbie, is when you said accurate, and that's why we do the research, is there's so much information out there, so many blogs, and you have to sift through that to see what is just repeated information and to see what is actually based on
or marketing
studies.
information where
Right.
people put it out
Exactly.
there,
That's a
and because
great
you hear it
point.
a lot, you think, oh, it has to be good, but it's not necessarily the case.
Well, and when we're talking about sunscreen too, I knew like helioplex is a new kind of catchphrase for sunscreen, right? It's not something that they traditionally advertise back.
There's a specific brand. It's their trademarked version.
okay.
So they've created this specific blend of chemical ingredients, and they've named it helioplex. So
Okay.
it's a trademarked marketing.
So you gotta, that's the thing, you gotta be careful just because.
Do your research.
Yeah, just because you hear it out there doesn't mean that it's necessarily good.
Right.
But definitely looking at the ingredients is always key and important.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And of course, listening to our show.
So
thank you, Leanne.
I like to err on the side of going as non-toxic as I can. There are times when I need to use somebody else's sunscreen that isn't zinc-based or whatever, and you know what? I'm not using it every single day. The one that has the chemicals, so I'm okay using it the day I have to use it. So the main thing is you do want to use it.
Right.
Yeah,
that you use
protected.
something and that you're protected. But,
Exactly.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Informative as
Cheers,
always.
ladies.
Yes,
absolutely.
Cheers. Let's do another one here.
Oh, definitely.
There we go.
But stay tuned because we have some more good stuff for you.
Welcome back. Another great show.
It always is. I said that before we even started the show.
The show was exponentially better with the alcohol.
You think? Yeah. For some reason, everything's always better.
I feel
with
so much
alcohol.
more calm under these lights. No, it was really great. We had a lot of great information, and we really went sciencey on this. I hope it wasn't information
was
overload.
Amazing,
but yeah.
and a lot of specific information, accurate information.
Yep.
And these little things that you take for granted. You just don't know, or you don't realize, but then you hear this one little, like I know when I read something, or if I see an ad, or if I'm in a doctor's office flipping through a magazine, it'll be one little thing, and I'll be like, wow, that is like really informative.
Right.
So I think there's always informative information on our show, but I think specifically for this show, a lot of different things that we've learned. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Spiro was amazing.
Yep, he was very knowledgeable, so lots of good stuff.
And we always have great sponsors, so we always want to shout out to a great thank you for Pediatric Services of Wilbraham.
And Pediatric Dental Associates.
Yes. And Wilbraham Florists, who always supply our beautiful arrangements of flowers.
Yes.
And we also have a special little surprise. If you ever wonder why we look so wonderful,
so fabulous.
Takes a lot of work.
Takes many hours.
You don't
of
see the
preparation.
before pictures, yes. But what you may not know is that Skin Talk has a Skin Talk Beauty Brigade.
Yes.
Ladies?
Let's bring the ladies out so we can meet them.
Yes. And give a
So
special
grateful
applause
for these ladies.
to Katie, Tanya.
We have Sarah, who is the owner of the hair parlor in Indian Orchard. So we are so grateful for these ladies who make us look the way that we look.
Yes, and I know it's a lot of work.
It's a hard
sorry.
Job. Someone's got to do it, right? But as
dirty
usual,
job, but somebody has to do it.
And as usual, if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and also at skintalk.org, which is where all of their information is going to be posted in case
so if you want to look
as fabulous
glam
as us.
and feel beautiful, definitely check them out and call them up.
And keep watching Skin Talk. Thank
we'll
you.
see you next time.
Hi, I'm Renee Banks, the first runner-up to Miss Massachusetts Outstanding Teen, and hopefully the next Miss America's Outstanding Teen. I take a lot of pride in skin safety, not just because I am involved in the Miss America's Outstanding Teen organization, and healthy and beautiful skin means everything in a pageant, but because my grandfather passed away from melanoma. And my mission is melanoma awareness.
Hey, where's Renee?
I think she's doing a PSA on the set.
Oh, let's go check it out.
All right.
You must know my good friends from Skin Talk.
Hey, beautiful.
Hey, what are you up to?
I was just talking about you ladies because thanks to you, I'm able to spread my own personal melanoma outreach.
And I know what that is. To educate.
And to demonstrate.
And terminate melanoma. So keep watching Skin Talk.